Greetings and welcome back everyone. If you like these videos, be sure to share them with your friends to help the channel grow. I'm Crypto Snake, back again to bring you some Bitcoin analysis, and happy birthday Bitcoin! Today is Bitcoin's birthday and it's officially 10 years old. The fortune maker and fortune taker. I want to start this video out by discussing a very important event that is coming up, and that would be Ethereum's hard fork. Not only one, but there are 3 hard forks scheduled for January. So what does this mean for Ethereum? If you've been in the crypto market for a long time, you know that airdrops and hard forks generally create an increased volume of that coin and normally a nice price surge. I expect this to be no different. The first hard fork, which is the Classic Vision hard fork on January 11th, 2019, all Ethereum holders will receive 3 ETCV for each Ethereum in their wallet. So what this is it's essentially an airdrop. You receive free tokens. Now, normally when an airdrop or a hard fork occurs, as soon as those tokens are given out on the snapshot, the coin price itself falls drastically. However, with all 3 of these forks being so close together, I expect this to actually create a lot of momentum for Ethereum and potentially a bullish pump, especially with some things that I laid out in the previous video regarding Bitcoin's inverse head and shoulders pattern and Ethereum's current state in the market. The second fork that's happening is the Ethereum Noah fork. This is going to occur the next day, January 12th, 2019. Each Ethereum holder receives an ETN in the ratio of 1:1 for free. So not 1, but 2 free tokens are being given out in these hard forks for Ethereum on the 11th and the 12th. The 16th is the Constantinople fork. This is more of a hard fork change for mining. However, it will also influx a lot of miners into it to make a decision. Ethereum is cutting down their reward for mining from 3 to 2. This is going to create quite a lot of ripples in the mining universe for Ethereum, as it's very likely to reduce the overall difficulty. This was in response to Ethereum's massive price drop previously. When Ethereum started to cascade down in price, a decision was made to reduce the overall reward for the mining. So that's what this Constantinople fork is. If you want a decent reference of what might happen from this hard fork, you only need to look at Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash surged up violently before dropping back down. The hype with that just continued to grow. The difference being with Ethereum's hard fork and Bitcoin Cash's hard fork, of course, is that there is not going to be nearly as much drama. There's no real drama that's expected with the Ethereum fork. It is expected to go through, so it will be treated as an airdrop. So my most important rule for this, obviously, is to buy the rumor, sell the news. My personal strategy with airdrops is to not hold through the actual snapshot for the airdrop. As the price continues to rise, people tend to ride it up, waiting for that snapshot. Price increases 30%. I normally jump ship somewhere around this level, normally up until the minute of the snapshot. It will continue side trending, and then once that snapshot hits, there will just be a cascading drop. It normally occurs with the airdrop. It's not every single time, but that's my personal strategy. So you have 2 options for this airdrop if you do participate in it. One is to ride up and hop off with some very decent profits, start picking it up early as a retest around the 135 level. And the second is to ride it for the snapshot and hope that the value of the coins that you're receiving is worth the price drop in Ethereum, which they normally are not. However, there is a chance that the price may continue to surge upwards following the snapshot, as they are so closely tied together over the 2-day difference between the 2 hard forks. So personal preference on that. And speaking of events, today is also the date of the Crypto Keys protest, also known as the Proof of Keys event. So I am expecting a relatively quiet market for most of the day with the low volume, possibly some more volatility towards the night and some random spikes here and there from the bot movement. But I want to go ahead and hop into Bitcoin here again for some volatile movements that we're seeing. We did see a decent price drop here today, and we just now posted another daily candle, but I want to lay out another formation that I'm seeing. In fact, 2 formations. So another pattern presenting itself right now is the potential symmetrical triangle. We have been riding this up on this daily support, and with the descending triangle that I marked out previously as the bear scenario, the bullish scenario would be a symmetrical triangle, which we appear to be supporting. This does coincide with the inverse head and shoulders that I marked out in the previous 2 videos as well for a potential breakout. Now, as we constrict in the end of this symmetrical triangle, this normally does break out bullish with a violent pump. This would break us into the daily cloud. This would also coincide with a test of the neckline somewhere around the 4080 level, possibly lower on the neckline depending on what angle you put on the inverse head and shoulders. The inverse head and shoulders neckline may also coincide with the descending triangle resistance around 3900. So all 3 of these patterns are basically coinciding with this same major resistance level. If this resistance level breaks around the 3900 level, once again, it will very likely start skyrocketing. Now, if we do break out of this, we will break into the daily cloud, and we are very likely to test between the 4,800 level up to around 5,500, anywhere between that range. Some other factors that are in favor of this particular pattern right now is the heavy consolidation on the daily Williams %R, and we're also nearing the end of the inverse head and shoulders pattern for this possible breakout. Now, if we break down from this symmetrical triangle, in fact, we may break down from this daily candle here, this would invalidate this trend. It would very possibly invalidate the inverse head and shoulders pattern, and we may continue into the bearish descending triangle pattern. But for the moment, we are consolidating on the Williams %R. We're moving down to the -70. Normally, we have to break through this line to find the support to start pulling back, so we may see another spike down to the support around 3680 or so before starting to rebound back up. The relative strength index, which is a measurement of oversold and overbought conditions, is also consolidating. It has been relatively stagnant in this area, even though the price has been slightly descending. As you can see on the Williams %R, this has also been heavily descending, even though the price has stayed within this very small range. The Copic curve has also been descending while we've been actually moving up in the price temporarily, which indicates that it's likely to start increasing in price. The Chiku span is also broken above the price and is now above the daily Kijinsen. This is a very bullish sign. There's also one other formation that is in favor of the bulls right now, which is the ascending triangle formation, which is respecting this line since this drop down into this range. This is also a bullish pattern indicating another potential breakout from this level when we break this resistance. So at least based on the BitMEX chart, 3,900 is definitely the resistance level to be watching. Down on the 4-hour chart, we can see this a little bit better. The Williams %R is also moving towards the bearish territory, indicating a reversal. It still has a bit more to drop, or at least some more consolidation around this area before a potential spike up. The Copic curve is also starting to descend slightly, and the relative strength index is also moving towards the oversold territory. As today is the date of the Proof of Keys event, I am expecting a bit of volatility here. We may break some of these trend lines in either direction temporarily, so I do recommend exercising caution. I am currently out of the market at the moment, waiting to see where this develops for the day. But I do have a plan in place to give my VIPs. And before I get on with the rest of my technical analysis, if you'd like to join my free Telegram for insights on the market, including Bitcoin, altcoins, and a sneak peek to my personal entries and exits, join t.me/cryptosnakebit. Links directly to the chat and a link on how to install Telegram, which is a free chat program I use to communicate with my VIPs, in the description below. I've also launched my official Twitter, so follow me at CryptosnakeVIP to get regular updates. The new year is officially here, and I've given out a fresh batch of altcoin positions to ride for savage gains into the new year. I also give out hot altcoin swing positions every week to my VIPs. If you want information on how to get into the VIP group to be part of these trades, the information is also in the description below. I've also released a brand new unique feature for my VIP elite that you will not find elsewhere: access to my automatic artificial intelligence bot, which automatically targets altcoins ready for a steady pump. I'll be releasing more information on this over the next couple of weeks as well. And I'm always happy to answer questions. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me on Telegram at officialcryptosnake. So let's get back into it, and let's go ahead and delve back into Ethereum here, which I laid out yesterday that it was very likely to come up to test the 160 level, which it got very, very close to, stopped out around 158 or so, before breaking down and being rejected into the daily cloud, as I mentioned in the previous video, was likely to occur. As we were moving into heavily overbought conditions, the Copic curve is also starting to descend some more. This indicates to me that the price is very likely to return back to the support of the daily Kijinsen at around 135 or so. Now, as I laid out in the other videos as well, I am expecting a potential long squeeze for Ethereum. Whether this occurs on this dip or continues to build up pressure and breaks down around the 180 level remains to be seen. However, all of these technical indicators can be entirely discounted when it comes to a hard fork event. That kind of FOMO really can't be tracked with technical indicators. It will just continue to fly up and break resistance after resistance. So there's no telling where the price might go with that. I would expect some increased volatility in the next coming weeks or so though. Short term, I am looking to scoop up Ethereum around the 130 level, maybe 135 or so, depending on where that long squeeze lands. But I think January is definitely going to be a very, very good month for Ethereum. Worst case scenario, it does come back to test the 80 level or so with a wick, more likely a retest of 100, breaking down into this cloud system. So short term right now, I am bearish on Ethereum to break down. Long term, definitely bullish. Within the next 2 weeks, I'm super bullish for a pump on Ethereum with the hard fork coming. So I am going to be scooping up some Ethereum in expectation of that. Now, at least on the daily indicators, the Williams %R is heavily up into the bullish territory, indicating a breakdown towards the bearish. The RSI is also very well up into the overbought territory, indicating a very likely pullback. Switching over to Litecoin really fast. Litecoin is currently in the middle of a trend moving from bullish to bearish. It is also consolidating in this area with the Williams %R moving down towards the bearish territory, but the price staying within this relatively tight range. It is moving to test the daily cloud system. I would expect the price to come back and test the support around $31 before possibly breaking up into the cloud system. If Bitcoin and Ethereum start pumping with Ethereum's hard forks combined with Bitcoin's potential breakout from the inverse head and shoulders, Litecoin is definitely going to go for a ride with that. I could see that pump up to anywhere around the 45 level through the daily cloud, anywhere between 40 and 45. As far as overall indicators, it's definitely looking more bullish after it retests this support level. It could test down to around 30 before bouncing, but overall fairly bullish on Litecoin. Move down to the 4-hour chart. We can take a look at this a little bit closer. Short term, it's definitely moving down into the oversold territory, and I would be looking to target around the 31 to pick up some Litecoin and ride that up back to the 4-hour Kijunsen around the 33 level for a bounce. It is currently forming a slightly concerning ascending wedge here, which would be a bearish formation, which would normally indicate as it comes and constricts in here, it would break back down. That does fit with the overall trend right now and would likely result in a break into the daily cloud and then another retest of the bottom of the daily cloud around that daily Kijunsen. I would say short term and medium term, I'm bullish on Litecoin if Bitcoin can break out of that inverse head and shoulders. Otherwise, it will continue to side trend through this daily cloud system. If you'd like me to take a look at any other altcoins, feel free to make a request in the comment section. I'll get to it right away. Just to recap on Bitcoin really fast, I do believe we are going to hold support on this daily Kijunsen. We may see some wicks today due to the low volume and a possible breakdown temporarily before waking back up. But I do expect us to break through the 3 indication patterns that I laid out: the inverse head and shoulders, the ascending triangle, the symmetrical triangle that we're forming. If the price breaks below the 3670 level and finishes a daily candle below that, I would expect us to respect the bearish pattern, the descending triangle, which would possibly break us down to the 1800 level. This would look like this, breaking down from this level, bouncing within this range, and continuing that way. No matter which way Bitcoin goes, there's always profit to be made. We will be taking advantage of that in the VIP. So that's it for today's technical analysis. If you do make any trades today, I wish you luck. Please join me in my free Telegram at t.me/cryptosnakebit, where I give up-to-the-minute updates on Bitcoin and my personal exits and entries for the private VIP group. Also included is our private VIP chat, where you can chat with many of our experienced Savage traders, get personal technical analysis from me, and answer any questions you might have. This is CryptoSnake, signing off.